नमस्तुते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरंगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। I would like to take the blessings of all of the assembled Vaishnavas so that I can speak on the subject matter. Hare Krishna. So we'll start with this song. This is a very beautiful song for praising a Vaishnava. So as since we have a appearance day of one of the prominent Acharya in our Gaudiya Vaishnava line, so we'll sing with this song. एक बार करुणा करो वैष्णवा गोसाई
एक बार करुणा करो वैष्णवा गोसाई
पतिता पावना तुम्हारा बिना के हो नाई
पतिता पावना तुम्हारा बिना के हो नाई
जहाँ निकटे गेले पापा दूर जाए
यहाँ रानी केले गेले
पापा दूर जाए ए मना दयाला प्रभु के बाकोठा पाए
एमोना दयाला प्रभु के बागो तपाए
गंगारा प्रसारा होले पश्चातापवाना
गंगारा प्रसाला होइले पश्चातापवाना
दर्शने पवित्र करो ए तुम्हारा गुण
दर्शने पवित्र कोरा ए तुम्हारा गुण
हरि स्थाने अपराधे तार हरि नाम
हरिस्थाने अपराधे तारा हरि नाम
तुम स्थाने अपराधे नहीं परित्राण
तुम स्थान अपराधे नहीं परित्राण
तुम्हारा हृदय सदा गोविंदा विश्राम
तुम्हारा हृदय सदा गोविंदा विश्राम
गोविंदा को है ना मोरा वैष्णवा प्रणाम
गोविंदा को है ना मोरा
वैष्णवा प्रणाम प्रति जन्म कोरी आशा चरणे रतुली
प्रति जन्म कोरी आशा चरणे रधूली
नरोत्तम करो दया अपना बोली
नरोत्तम करो दया अपनार बोली
जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur.
Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur.
Jaya Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Jaya Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Jaya Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Jaya Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Jaya Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Jaya Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Jaya Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Jaya Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
So we'll just read the translation. Anybody want to read the translation?
I can read.
Yeah, I can read and also.
We can read one at a time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or yeah. So let's read two. So we'll start with Geeta Mala Mataji and then.
No,
Tulsi.
everybody can get a chance. I'll just read one.
Okay.
O Vaishnava Goswami, please be merciful to me now. There is no one except you who can purify the fallen souls.
Okay.
Where does,
Yeah, you can read.
okay, where does anyone find such a merciful personality by whose mere audience all sins go far away?
You can-
After bathing in the waters of the sacred Ganges many times, one becomes purified, but just by the sight of you, the fallen souls are purified. This is your great power.
The holy name delivers one who has committed an offense to Lord Hari. But if one commits an offense to you, there is no means of deliverance.
Your heart is always the residing place
Resting.
of Lord, resting
Please.
place of Lord Govinda, and Lord Govinda
Says.
says, the Vaishnavas are in my heart. I
Yes,
desire
that's it. Yeah, now give to other person.
I desire the dust of your holy feet in every birth I may take. Please consider Narottama yours and be kind upon him.
Thank you, everyone. So, as you see, very beautiful song as we sung in the auspicious appearance of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So, I'll stop sharing my screen. No, I think I can. Are you able to see the screen now? The different screen like the Pranam Mantra of Bhakti Siddhanta?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just sing it once and you can all read one translation. So it's a very beautiful pranam mantra of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Vrishabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Nama Madhurya Ujjwala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigraya Namastute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaya Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddhapa Siddhanta Dhanta Harine. So we can read the translation one by one.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at His lotus feet. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Vrishabhanavi Devi Daiti Das, another name of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, who is favored by Srimati Radharani and who is the ocean of transcendental mercy and the deliverer of the sight of Krishna.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the personified energy of Sri Chaitanya's mercy, who delivered devotional service which is enriched with conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, coming exactly in the line of revelation of Srila Rupa Goswami.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the personified teachings of Lord Chaitanya. You are the deliverer of the fallen souls. You do not tolerate any statement which is against the teachings of devotional service initiated by Srila Rupa Goswami. So thank you everyone for reading, and we'll now go into the pastimes of or we want to understand what's the position of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So we'll discuss about that. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, would anybody would like to know who is he? A little bit one-liner description about him.
Srila Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Yes, Srila Prabhupada Guru Maharaj, and this is a very, very big statement, because this statement itself means that we are standing or we are holding these classes today just by the mercy of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because he has given order to Srila Prabhupada to come to West, and he has done that in 1965. He came here at the age of 70, and because of him. And if you go beyond that, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who was the father of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he has prayed for the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati to appear. So we will discuss. So we'll discuss about him now. I'll just share my screen again. Sorry, I forgot. No, I think I just have this one picture. Nandagopal Prabhu or anyone, can you just share your screen with the Bhakti Siddhanta's one photo so that we can continue our discussion? I'll just start meanwhile, or anyone, or Rasraj Prabhu. So, Gaudiya Parampara, we are all coming from the Gaudiya Parampara. So, in our Gaudiya Parampara, different acharyas came. We all know that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared as a devotee of Krishna. So, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, he wanted to taste the, transcendental mellows of bhakti, like how Srimati Radharani feels when she do the bhakti to me. So, I want to taste that. So, that's why he appeared, and with him he also have appeared, followed by him was our Sri Rupa Raghunath Das, Sri Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatan Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Srila Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So these were the 6 prominent disciples of of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who have written so many books about bhakti. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even though he came and he also distributed, but he also wanted so many people to assist him. So these acharyas have came, these 6 prominent Goswamis of Vrindavan, they came, and we are by their mercy are able to relish this bhakti. So this what happens right at the time of like 500 years ago, right? 500, 400 years ago, we don't have these. Nowadays we have laptop, or where you write something and you just delete it. Let's say if you have to write something, but you wrote instead of E you wrote T or something like that. So what you do is you can always go back, put a backspace, and then you just write. But in the typewriter doesn't happen. When you type in the typewriter, if one of the even if one of the spelling is mistake, or one of the letter, then you have your whole page is just a waste. You have to write it again. But before even that, these acharyas, they used to write a manuscript with the hand. These all scripts were the handwritten. And Narottam Das Thakur, Srivas Acharya, and Shamananda Pandit. Narottam Das Thakur appearance we celebrated last Friday, and Mataji has explained that all these people, they were going with the manuscript. So these manuscripts were written with the hand. These days, in our home we'll find so many books and we don't understand the value of those books, but these books, these acharyas, Narottam Das Thakur, all these acharyas, when they have come after the Goswamis, these acharyas have come and they have written, like if Srimad Bhagavatam is needed, then they have to write all these verses with the hand on the make a tree bark in a paper, and then they used to write it, like keeping it dry, and then used to write like that. So it's very, very important. They never knew us, right? But because of their compassion in their heart, being a humble and true Vaishnavas, they have so much, they have invested all their energy to write these wonderful literatures for us. But nowadays we don't, give so much importance. We say, okay, Prabhupada's book, we have so many lying in our home. But we have to understand the importance, because his Acharya has given so much of their hard work just to write these books earlier when these facilities were not available. So these were the acharyas. Their Shiksha disciple, Shiksha guru was Jiva Goswami. Under him, they have all three studied together, and then they have been very, very exalted disciples of, and then they have written all these books. Okay, so what happened in this Gaudiya Parampara? There was some, these were all the bright sunshine. When this acharya would come, they will write the books, and they will, enunciate the principle of devotional service according to the right line of Rupa Goswami. So we are called Rupanuga, right? Followers of the Rupa Goswami. So then they have done that. But what happens, people, when they try to interpret it in different way, so there were some gloomy shade also happened. After this acharya have left this world, then some gloomy shade happened, where the people were trying to add their own philosophy. They tried to, with the ulterior motive, or with the, they have twisted this original teachings of acharyas as coming in the line of Rupa Goswami, or as original teaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what happened? But these acharya, when they come in time, then they restored these teachings. And also we know, after these three acharyas, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, and before that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur came, and they also established our teaching of Gaudiya Vaishnava as a proper teaching of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But we also should understand that during the time of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, we are talking about early 19th century, so around 100 years back, we are talking, 120 years back. So at that time, nobody want to be the follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And you may wonder why. This is a very shocking statement to know. Nobody wants to be a follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because all the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were distorted by these sampradayas. They were called as the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but they were not followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They were actually called as Appa Sampradaya. Appa means deviating sects. So these sections of the Sampradaya, which have distorted, very, very badly distorted the teaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the 19th century. When Bhakti Vinod Thakur was there, he was very much disturbed seeing the condition of these people distorting the teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was a pure Vaishnava, and proper follower of the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he prayed. So before that, I would also say just some few names, like the Jati Gosai. So there were, I think there were 13 sampradayas and upper sampradayas, and one of them was a Jati Sampradaya. So what is Jati Sampradaya or Jati Gosai is, you can be a devotee, or if you are born in a Brahmana family, not by not by your practice, by your birth you become the Brahmana. And they used to say that even if anybody, if they are not born in the Brahmana family, they are very knowledgeable, they cannot become the Brahmana, or they cannot have the sacred thread, or they cannot worship. So that is, we also know that is not correct. According to the scripture, it is Guna Karma Vibhagasha. Chaturvarna Maya system, Guna Karma Vibhagasha. So Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, that these divisions are according to the guna, or the qualities one acquire, not by the birth. So we know that, right, from Srimad Bhagavatam, from Bhagavad Gita, and also when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also taught us, right, anyone can become the guru. The condition is that he should know Krishna and Tattva. He can become the guru. So he did not say that he should be in the Brahmana family. So all these teachings were distorted by these Appa Sampradayas. So one of them, we discussed the Jati Sampradaya, and there was another which was Sakhi Beki. What was that is, with the Sakhi Beki, these Sampradaya people, they used to consider themselves as as the as the mukta, like the liberated souls, like they will be thinking that I am Radharani and you are Rashuda Mai and this is Lalita Vishaka, and they used to replicate the Lord's pastime in the perverted way, not even understanding the transcendental nature of the Lord's pastime. They used to do like that. So there were practically no true Vaishnavas. If they were there, they were in the cave. They were not in the public, because people were very much afraid. If they heard that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sampradaya, the people are like that. So nobody wants to follow. So because Bhaktivinoda Thakur, being a pure Vaishnava, he was very much disturbed, and then he prayed for a ray of Vishnu. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, just a little bit, he was a father of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was a very, very scholarly and very, very pure devotee of the Lord. He has around 10 children, and he and Bhagwati Devi was his chaste wife, and they had 10 children. And he was a district magistrate. Also, he was in a very high post at the British timing. It was a very high post. He was a government officer at that time, but with that, he was very a pure devotee of the Lord also. So he prayed of a Vishnu ray, because he was alone, because he cannot do all these things alone. So he prayed to the Lord that please give me a son of who can who can teach this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching in a proper way, as has been initiated by Rupa Goswami and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. So that prayer has been fulfilled on February 6, 1874. A great personality appeared in the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Mother Bhagwati Devi. So what happens? How do we know that this child is the Vishnu of Ray? Is there were some symbols on this child? So it has been mentioned according to the astrology that the Ketu was in the house of the 12, so that means he was a liberated soul. Also, there is some symbols in his toe that that symbolize that he's the associate of Vishnu. As well as when he was born, there is an umbilical cord which is wrapped around his torso, like around his neck, or the torso, like we like the Brahmanas or the Vaishnavas wear the sacred thread, the janu that was around, that the umbilical cord was wrapped around. So that was also some science which Bhaktivinoda Thakur could understand, that he is the ray which I was praying for, to establish the Lord's teaching in an appropriate way, because it has been so much distorted. So when he appeared, as we have discussed, and today is that same day that was there in 6 February 1874. Today is 3rd March 2021. So he appeared, so around 147 years back, he appeared, and his name was Bimal Prasad. So actually, he appeared in the holy town or holy city of Jagannath Puri. It's a very auspicious place, Jagannath Puri, where Lord Jagannath, it is called also the Purushottam Kshetra, where Lord Jagannath is there with his sister Subhadra, and with his brother Balram. So there was a house nearby to Jagannath temple, very close. The house of Bhakti Vinod Thakur was, I think it is also called Narayan Chata, that house, and it was just very close to the temple. And this child appeared to them, and they have named as Vimal Prasad. Why Vimal Prasad? Because Jagannath, when Jagannath get his bhoga, so when that bhoga will turn into prasad, there is a, in the courtyard of Jagannath temple, there is a Bimla Devi, who is none other than Parvati Devi. Her temple is there, and when the prasadam or the bhoga is first offered to the Lord, after when it become prasadam, that prasadam is it goes to the Vimla Devi, and then that prasad again come out and it will be distributed to all the devotees. Then it is called Mahaprasad. So then, because he has prayed to Lord Jagannath, and he arrived in his home, so he named it as Vimal Prasad. That was his name, the birth name which has been given to him. So during the July month, as we know that all that the Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra will be there every year in Puri, Jagannath Puri. So around 6 months, when he was around 6 months, our Bhakti Siddhanta or Vimal Prasad was 6 months. Then, as I already told, that he was a district manager, magistrate, as well as he was a superintendent of the Jagannath temple as well. So what happened? Sometimes what happened? Lord Jagannath cart will stop, And even if it will be pulled by the strongest men, or it will be even the elephant will be employed to pull that cart, it will not move. Why? Because that is Lord Jagannath wish. When he want to stop, nobody can move him from that place. So there was the admin at that time, there was a admin change, that the king was changed, and he said, oh, this is not good. Why the Lord Jagannath cart should stop when the Jagannath will go in his rath to Jagannath Puri to Gundija temple, and there it will be there for 7 days, but while going it will stop. So he said, no, this is not good. Why we will employ, we will hire some elephants and to do this job of pulling the cart. And then this, the Lord Jagannath came in the dream of this king, and he said, you stop employing this elephant. I am the king. You are thinking that you are the king. I am the king. Wherever I want to stop, I'll stop. Nobody can interfere into my wish, like that. So, he has left employing this elephant. And what happened right in the front, because their house was on the main road from the Jagannath Puri way to Gundija temple. So Lord Jagannath car stopped at the place right at the front door of the Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So you may wonder, maybe 1 hour, 2 hour, but it was mentioned that it was not for 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 days and 3 nights. The Lord's cards, was there in the house of in the front of the house of the Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur, being a pure Vaishnava, he started doing a lot of Sankirtan for the Lord, lot of Kirtan for the Lord. And Bhagavati Devi, taking advantage of this situation, she came with a child, with a Vimal Prasad, who was around 5-6 months at that time, and she went, at that time that was allowed to go to the Lord Jagannath's cart. She went right, in the cart, and then in the rath, and then she just placed her child like that to give, to have the blessings of Lord Jagannath. And this child was very small, the child tried to, with the hand, he tried to touch Lord Jagannath's feet. And then the right after, when he touched the Lord's feet, Lord Jagannath garland fell on the neck of this child. So that was also the sign, very, very auspicious sign of that. Yeah, this is a child, this is a transcendental child that the Bhakti Vinod Thakur was praying for. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he bowed down and the cart started moving. So it's Lord Jagannath who wanted to see his Vishnu Ray, Bhakti, like the Vimla Prasad, the son of the Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And then what happened, like in the Prashana ceremony, right after this, for every child, this ceremony is observed, where at that time, Vimal Prasad time, they have kept so many articles, like they will keep some weapons, so to see that if the child will touch that, that then might be he's interested in some, as to become a soldier, or the grains he might become the merchant, or gold he might become a trader, and books. So transcendental books, Srimad Bhagavatam also. So what Bhakti Vinod Thakur has done, Srimad Bhagavatam he kept in the side, and all these alluring things, the gold coins or whatever things were there, he has kept in the front. But this child is not an ordinary child. So this child went, he just crawled, and he just touched the book of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's also was one of the pastime which happened in the life of Vimla Prasad. So soon after, that is one more pastime, and I'm sure we have all heard about this mango pastime, very, very important pastime for us also to understand. So what happened that one day, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, or Vimal Prasad, he was 2 or 3 year old, and his father, and the mango season, especially in India, right, for very, very famous in the summer season, very famous, people get mango, they start sucking on the mango, or they take mango shake, or making some pulp, or this and that. So this child, there was cut mango which was not yet offered to the Lord, and it was kept in the table to offer to the Lord. But what this child was doing was very small. So his child started eating that mango, and Bhakti Vinod Thakur, when he came, he saw, he, because very small child, right? Usually we scold them very mildly. So 2 or 3 year old child. So he said very mildly, he chastised him. oh, you took the Lord's share, you have not offered it to the Lord and you took it without offering. This should not be done like that, he told. And at that time, even in that age, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he took a lifelong vow that I am the offender at the feet of the lotus feet of the Krishna or the Lord, so I will not take mango throughout my life. Very very important principle for us to understand when we take the vows, any vows of, or at the time of initiation, usually what we do the vows, we have to keep them for the lifelong. So here it has been mentioned that in his whole lifetime, and I have also heard that Srila Prabhupada, he was telling about his Guru Maharaj in his lecture, and he mentioned that when we also used to like they used to cut the mango, and somehow if they don't know, right, he'll be not if he'll be there, we'll be trying to tell to everybody like our vow, but he was not like that. So maybe some of the disciple might not be aware of his vow. So when they used to cut and give him the fruit, he used to tell, no, I cannot have this, I am the offender at the feet of the Lord. I will not have it until I'm alive. So in after 2 or 3 years, he have never had any mango, he have never had in his life. So that's very important for us to understand that we also have to keep our vows. So that was a very important and pastime that happened in the life of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And soon when he was growing up at the age of 7 year, it has been mentioned that he mastered Sanskrit, he masters mathematics, and he was very great scholar, and he was very great learner in astrology. So he was at one time in his school, what he used to do, he was very scholarly. At 7 years of age, he have also not even scholarly, he was a devotee also. So at the 7 year of age, he has memorized all the verses of Bhagavad Gita. It just was not the just the parrot chanting of the Bhagavad Gita, but he has also, he could explain to the other people about the verses and clear their doubt also at just at the age of 7 year old. So also one time what happened in his school, he was around 7 or 8 year old. He used to go and he used to read Sri Narottam Das Thakur Pratna Prema Bhakti Chandrika, Pratna from Prema Bhakti Chandrika. And when his teacher got annoyed, right? If he teach somebody and if they are doing something else, the teacher really get annoyed. Right? This kid is not paying attention to my class, right? So similarly, this teacher got annoyed and she told, you get up and you answer this question. I am seeing that you are distracted or not paying attention. So then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur or Vimal Prasadi get up and he answered the question exactly what she wanted. And also he is also, like modified a question, and that he said that's the answer for that question if your follow-up question would be like that. So that how scholarly and very very intelligent he was. And at that age, around I think 9 or 10 year of age, he got this title of Siddhanta Saraswati, because he was Saraswati means the goddess of learning, and he was very very expert in learning everything, very scholarly. So he got that title from Siddhanta Saraswati. Siddhanta, or we know principles, and Saraswati means very very. And he has this photogenic memory. When he used to see anything or read anything, he'll just not remember only one or two line or just out of it, he'll remember everything. That was his memory, that was his intelligence. So also it has been mentioned when his father, because he's a devotee, he was setting the what do you call that, in the first, that inauguration ceremony will be there they do that stabilize that ground, or they do some auspicious ceremony for that particular place. So that was happening, and where there they found his father found the deity of Kurmadev. So that deity he has given to his child as a gift, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, and asked him to worship every day. So that child, he has very very great faith in the holy name. He used to chant and he used to worship this deity every day without fail. And then he has initiated, this father has initiated him this all this worship or chanting the holy name, not like the initiation like Diksha Guru, but like the first teachings of what the father or the mother teach, like that. So that has happened at around 10 year of age, and this child got. We have already discussed the the title as well, and he was very learned to know about these books. And his father, when he was 10-year-old, he was he used to give him articles. He used to write many articles. We know Bhakti Vinod Thakur have written so many Vaishnava bhajans, and he used to give him the articles to edit. At the age of 10 or 11-year-old, and he used to even see some errors and used to suggest some fixes also on those things. So that scholarly he was, and that was his level. And he also used to think about this printing books at that age only. So he used to curious to know how this printing press work. And that's what the seed which he has planted. We all might remember when Srila Prabhupada, he was yet not initiated with Bhakti Siddhanta. So first meeting they have in 1922, when his friend Naren Mulik, he asked him that there is a very nice sadhu around, and we should meet. But Prabhupada was denying, because he has seen so many sadhus. They used to come to his home. His father was very gentle and very much welcoming to the sadhus, even if they are not, very much followers. Like they'll be sadhu just in the garb. So then he used to see them. So he said, no, no, I don't want to meet any sadhu. I have had enough. I have seen enough of the sadhus in my childhood. So so then Naren Malik insisted, no, this is not that kind of sadhu. Once you meet, he took him. 1922 he took, and then they were just paying the obeisances at the back of the room. And at that time they have not been introduced, like Abhay Charan they and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, they have not been introduced. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati at the first meeting, at the first sight, has told, you are a nice gentleman, why you don't preach this message of Lord Chaitanya to the Western world? Like, why you don't preach in English like that? You're a very nice English speaking man, like that. And that instruction, when first meeting happened, but even though Abhicharan or Prabhupada was not initiated by him, but he has accepted him as his guru in his heart. So we have also understand, so initiation just doesn't mean that everything stops, we stop doing this and that. Initiation is just the beginning, and we should consider our guru from our heart. So similarly, but Prabhupada already considered him as his guru, and he was trying to meditate on this message, why he has given me this message. I mean, just as the first meeting. And also Prabhupada has said at that meeting is, I got defeated by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, but I was very happy, because he had some argument where he said, who will listen to the message when we are not free? India is not free. And he said, this Krishna consciousness movement cannot wait for any political, any material changes. It's a very transcendental science. It should be, people are suffering in this material world, and it should go to each and every people. So like that, there was their first meeting. And after that, Srila Prabhupada, they also went to, one time Bhakti Siddhanta was in the Vrindavan Parikrama with all his disciples. Then Srila Prabhupada, he also went there. Abhay Charan, they went there at near the banks of Radha Kund. And at that time there was some that discussion in the Gaudiya Mutt which was happening was not at all good. The people or the disciples of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they started fighting on which room I will occupy, which room you will occupy. Like that they were doing. And that kind of discussion, Bhakti Siddhanta was very much disturbed. And he told Srila Prabhupada that if, or Abhay Charan, if you ever get money, print books. So like that message has been given to him. So as we all know how much Prabhupada is very dear to printing books, he has gone through so much. So that was his message to him at that time. When he came to the college, right after his when he gradually becoming growing, and he came to the college age, he was going to the college, but soon he realized that I am going to graduate. So he dropped out. Purposefully he dropped out, because if he get the degree, then his parents will try to get marry him with a girl, and he don't want to get settled in the married life. Even though in the college life he has created he has created a club that is called a celebrate club, Nashtika, like Brahmachari club. So some people in the starting, that it was actually the club for the lifelong brahmacharya. Some people, a lot of the people join in the starting, but soon when they get married, or or after some time, all the people, and in the 10 year there was none in this club but Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. We also should understand he was the lifelong brahmachari, or the Nashtika brahmachari throughout his life. So when he has given up the college life, and then at some point of time he went to the Tripura state, where he has been appointed as a Sanskrit teacher to the prince of that king of Tripura. Then 2 years I think he was there, he was teaching this child, but he did not find it very much suitable, because his heart was towards the bhakti, so he has left the job. So much so that this king has said that I'll give you the pension whole as you're getting the salary, but he was not interested. He said, I don't want to be attached or to be maintained by materialistic people. So he left. I think maybe in the starting he took, but he left it taking that. So also we should understand that in 1914, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he has left this world, and he has obviously went to the spiritual world, and in his father, his and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Guru Maharaj was Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. In 1915, he also left the world. But just to give a little background about the initiation of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he was a very much a transcendental saint. Very difficult to understand his activities. He hated the public attention, and he hated if the people come and ask his disturb him to for the blessings, and what blessings they want. My child will become this, or my home will be this, I should have this much money, I should have this and that, these kind of blessings, material blessings. He was hating people asking these blessings. So he used to sit near the public toilet, and he used to chant Hare Krishna there, because in the near the public toilet people will not come, because of this bad smell. So he was that transcendently, he is Sakshat Vairagya Murtaya. So in the what you call, in the pranam mantra of Srila Bhakti, Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, Sakshat Vairagya Murtaya. So that he's the perfect vigraha, or the renunciation personified he was. So that was his level. So very difficult to understand. But his father, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, has instructed his son that you should get the initiation from Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. And Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, in terms of material calculation or the material world, he was illiterate. He cannot write even his own name, but he was very exalted devotee of the Lord, and he was very exalted. So then we already know about, now we have discussed, we already know that so much scholarly was Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So he went to Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, and he asked him humbly that please initiate me. um, My father want me to take in you. I mean, you are a very great devotee of the Lord Chaitanya. I want to get initiation from you. So Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he directly denied. He said that you are so scholarly. How can I am not even, I cannot even write my own name. How can I give initiation to a person like you, who is so scholarly, so learned, so expert, encyclopedia. So like that. So then he said, please, my father has asked, so you have to give me initiation, like that. He requested. So he said, okay, you come after 1 week, I'll ask Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in meditation, he will talk to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he'll ask. So then he returned next week. Then also he said the same thing. Oh, I forgot to ask, like that. He was testing him also. I forgot to ask you, come next time too. Like that, it happened 2 to 3 times. And then he said, transcendental ultimatum he has given to Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, where he said, because I am struggling between you and my father. My father has said, until you get initiation from Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, you cannot come to the home. You just cannot come to the home. And here you are also rejecting me, and my father is also rejecting me. So he said, if you don't give me initiation, then I will commit suicide. I will jump into the Ganga. Like that, transcendental ultimatum is given. So then Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he accepted him as his disciple, and he was the sole disciple of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. So as I already told, he was not very much interested in going to the public. He was, secluded place, used to chant, and he was very, very Sakshat Vairagya Murti, very, very renunciation personified. So when he got the initiation, and then he got the name, very, very beautiful name, Shri Vrishabhanavi Devi Daita Das. So what does that mean? Vrishabhanavi Devi. Who is Vrishabhanavi Devi? Is Radharani. Daitaya means who gives the pleasure, who give the pleasure to Krishna. So basically the Krishna's Das, but is like the Sri Vrishabhanavi Daita Das. That name has been given by Gaur Kishore Das Babaji at the time of initiation. And this Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, as we all know, these all of the great Vaishnavas, they are very humble. So he used to say, like, when I will leave my body, you drag my body in the holy dust of Navadip, and so that I will get smeared, my body will get smeared from the dust of the Vaishnavas. But that doesn't literally mean that we do that with his body. But what happened, as we already is discussing, that he has left his body in 1915. So these Brahmanas, these people were there, and they started literally dragging his body. And then when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur he heard, he came there roaring like a lion, that how can you do like that? You should use intelligence. He is a very holy person, his body is immortal, you cannot do like that with him. And moreover, you do not have any right to touch his body, because I am his sole disciple. I have the complete right on the body of my spiritual master, holy body of my spiritual master. And he has also challenged them. He was very young at that time. And he has also challenged them, these Brahmanas or the other people, that okay, I have one condition. If any one of you have not had illicit sexual relationship with a woman in 1 year, then you come in front and then you touch the body of Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. No one came forward. Then he reduced 6 months, not have done, then you can come and touch. No one came. 6 months, he had reduced to 3 months. No one could come forward. Like that, these Brahmanas were, who were thinking that we are the Brahmanas. And then 1 month, 2 weeks, even 1 week, nobody can come because they were all in this illicit relationships. So he claimed for the body, and all the officials came. They also given the complete right to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, where he has established the proper samadhi for the Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. So the example has been given, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, an exalted devotee. You know how transcendental literature, writing a transcendental literature is not an ordinary work. Empowerment personality can only write those transcendental literature. So Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, what he says in Chaitanya Chaitamrita, if somebody just take my name, then they will rot in hell for their lot of lifetimes. That is not true. But in that utter humility, that he is estimating himself like that, but that doesn't literally mean he was a very, very exalted devotee. How could he write about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without being an empowered devotee of the Lord, right? So that's how this pastime, these Brahmanas, they were so foolish that they could not understand, and then they was trying to do like that. And then as Bhakti Siddhanta also came and try to settle that matter at that time. So also there was different principles about Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. One time before preaching movement, he took a vow for 10 years to chant the 1 billion names of the Lord. So he took a vow that he will completely chant it in 10 years, and he completely he will chant like 192 round, as Haridas Thakur used to chant every day. Like possibly it takes 24 hours to chant those rounds, 192 rounds. And he he in the small hut in Navdeep, he just maintained the deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and his hut or the cottage has some holes also. Practically, when the rain also will be there, he used to hold the umbrella and chant, because if he will try to fix his hut, then he will lose his time, right? He cannot chant. So similarly, sometime what we can also see from this pastime, he is not even fixing the hut so that he will not lose the time. But what we do with our time, we just practically do everything, and we just keep our sadhana or our practice of Krishna consciousness at the end. We think everything else is important. Also, Kumara says in Bhagavatam, fourth canto, they say the biggest obstacle in our in one's spiritual life to think that everything or anything else is more important than the bhakti. So that's the biggest obstacle for our progressing in our spiritual life. So here also we see, he's not, rain is coming and he's just holding the umbrella and chanting, not even fixing that. So that's how the urgency of our sadhana should be, that we should chant our round, or whatever sadhana we do in a priority basis. So that what we can learn from this pastime. He was practically chanting whole day, and for 10 years he was just chanting holy name for the empowerment. So one time what happened, one disciple of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he came, forgot to mention, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was also the Shiksha Guru for Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. So what happened, at one time, one disciple of Bhaktivinoda Thakur came, and he was asking to these Navdeep people, have you seen the scholarly son of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati? So they said, no, we haven't seen any scholarly person like that. But there is one madman we saw here. He just, he just jump and dance. He just say Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gaura, Nitai Gaura. He just do like that, and don't go close to him. He's just like a madman. Like that people used to think. So then when he went, and he understood that he's the son of Bhakti, he's exalted son of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And then he prayed, you come to Calcutta and you preach about Lord Chaitanya's teaching. And then he said, no, you come here, because he has taken a vow. He cannot leave for 10 years. He used to chant. So you come here, you chant with us, and you will see everything. God Nitai will manifest everything, like that he mentioned to him. You see, God Nitai is dancing here. It was practically seeing the Lord's Leela. So that was his principle. But at the time, when he's completed his vow, and there was no person who could give him sannyasa. So in the front of the photo of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, wearing the saffron robes, or marking his head with the tilak, and then he took the sannyasa, and then he went to Calcutta to this person and said, yes, I am ready to preach now. And also there is one more pastime about Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, very important for us to learn about the prasadam mix. What he used to do is, when he used to get the Lord remnant, he used to like rice, dal, sabzi, sweets, or whatever, curd, whatever will be there, he used to mix it all together, and then he used to eat it. Even the sweets he used to mix together. So it sounds a little crazy, but what was his principle on to do that is, what happens when we eat differently. We have all seen, right? We have a different, like if we like sweets, then we'll say, okay, I don't want to have khichdi more because this is khichdi, but I will have more rasgullas, right? So that taste will come. So to avoid that thing, if I like this more, then I'll eat this more, then he'll mix everything, so that no sweet, nothing salt, whatever is there is the remnant or the mercy of the Lord, and then he used to eat. So very much, very much exalted, and he used to do like that, because we should consider everything as the mercy of Lord, and we should eat it all together, not liking this more, not liking this more, finding fault at this prasadam or that prasadam. So like that he used to do. And he also had another very very important principle. Like he used to say that you have to chant 64 round. Even the grasta, when they used to say, how will we chant 64 round, very very difficult for us to chant 64 round, we will not have time. But he will not compromise on the principles. He will say you have to chant 64 round. If you don't chant, then adjust your life so that you can chant 64 round. How merciful is Srila Prabhupada? He has given 16 round, and how do we chant our 16 rounds? So like he had not compromised on this principle at that time. He used to say 64 round needs to be chant. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also told, I will not eat at the house of one who is not a Lakpati. So Lakpati not means very very rich person. Lakpati means who is not chanting the 1 lakh name of the Lord in a day. So like that. So 64 rounds. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never used to take food in any person's house who was not Lakpati according to his calculations. So also, he was also called Simha Guru, Lion Guru. So why he was called the Simha Guru? Because any person impersonal Mayavadi, when he used to be around Bhakti Siddhanta, they never used to, if they know that he's from this side of the road, they used to turn their side. So what happens one time, but what Bhakti Siddhanta used to do, he used to go to that road, and he used to chastise this person. How can you say the Lord Krishna is not have any form? You infinite Jiva, you has a form, and your origin, it doesn't have the form. How can you say like that? Except now that the Lord has a form. And this impersonal Mayavadi, then he'll just first surrender to the Bhakti Siddhanta's personal form, because he used to tell, with the reference of the words, he used to tell them and defeat them like that. So he was also called the Simha Guru. And also there is one pastime I'll quickly mention, that Apa Sampradaya, right? We have discussed the Apa Sampradaya, and we have also read in the Pranam Mantra, right? What did we learn? We read in the Pranam Mantra. Let me just quickly open that. So we have learned, yes, Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaya Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Apa Siddhanta. So Dhavana Harine. So what happened one time, there was a meeting scheduled between the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. So this Bhakti Vinod Thakur has also been invited there. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, being at old age, he has sent his young son as a representative to this meeting. Then, when all these Brahmanas meeting were there, when Bhakti Siddhanta went, he started praising the Brahmanas. He has given so many verses in glorification of the Brahmanas in the assembly. And these Brahmanas were very happy. But at the end, Bhakti Siddhanta has told that, but who is Brahmana? Brahmana is not by birth. And he has given 3 times more references from the scriptures that Brahmana is not by birth, but it's by the quality acquired. And Prabhupada always give the example of a doctor's child cannot claim to be a doctor. He has to get certified. He has to practice the, whatever he has to practice, a residency that he has to do, and then only he can claim to become a doctor. And lawyer similarly, lawyer also has to practice by going to the court, and he has to practice his whatever learnings are there, like he has to practice, otherwise he'll be not a lawyer. Or even if he's not studies, he cannot claim to be a lawyer son being a lawyer. So like that, Prabhupada used to give the example. So here I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the personified energy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who delivers devotional service which is encircled with conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, coming exactly in the rhyme. So if you see that line, Apa Siddhanta Dharine, sorry, I've read the other one. So you are the deliverer of the fallen soul. You do not tolerate any statement which is against the teaching. So Apa Siddhanta, that's the Apa Siddhanta which he has uprooted. So that assembly, when he has spoken, everybody got very much influenced by him, and they started touching his feet, and they understood the conclusion. And one also more. Last but not the least, most important principle of Bhakti Siddhanta was that he always give preference to the purity, rather the, if somebody has to sing, so if 2 person are there or 3 person are there, and you have to pick somebody, usually our tendency is to pick who sings nicer, right? But Bhakti Siddhanta's principle was, we have to pick a person who is pure, even though if he is not doing the kartal properly, or I mean, you got the gist, right? Like, purity is the force. Purity was the thing. I think at the time of when he was leaving the body, he also asked the person who was not at very good at singing, but he was pure from the heart. So that was his motto. He always preferred purity in terms of this musical ability. And one more last pastime I also would like to share, and then we'll wrap in 2 minutes. So very heart touching story I've heard about a brahmachari disciple. He was in the one of the Gaudiya Maths. So also when he started preaching, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he established 64 Gaudiya Maths all over the India. And one of the mud, this brahmachari was staying in Navdeep, and then this brahmachari has lifelong, whatever life he had served the Gaudiya Math. So, but he has detected with some disease. So he was about to leave his body. So he said, one time I want to visit my hometown or my village to see my mother. because he was leaving soon, like his his time was soon. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has said, no, you cannot go to your hometown. You have given a brahmachari life to this Gaudiya Math, and now to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has given all your life, whatever time you have given. If you go to your home, your mother will say, you're my only son, now you have come back, you stay here, and you just pass your last days in front of me like that. He said, no, I cannot allow you to do, because all the things you have done will be vanquished, if you do like that. So he, with with the heavy heart, he said no to him. At that time, understanding will understand in the end what will happen. So later, when his time was very near, like 2-3 days left for him leaving his body, he was there in Navdeep Dham. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati ordered his other disciples, a brahmachari, told him that, okay, take away him and take him to his mother's home or his hometown. Then this person begged, I do not want to go, because I am going to leave my body and I want to live in Navadip Dham. I do not want to go outside of the Dham now. And then he said, no way, you have to go out. You have to go out of the Dham, and then you go to your hometown, like that he mentioned. And he has sent him with his brahmacharis and to Calcutta in the train. So when he has sent this is brahmachari, he left his body while in the journey in the train. So when these disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, they came to Bhakti Siddhanta and they say, we do not understand why you have, knocked him out of the dham. He was about to leave his body, and this poor fellow has left his body in the train. Rather, he could have left in the dham. So Bhakti Siddhanta, tears in his eyes, he told that if I would have allowed him to stay in the dham, what happened was, because his mind was hankering for his mother, right? Because he was telling that he want to go and see his mother, and then his mind was hankering for his mother or his hometown. Rather, when I kicked him out of the dham, then his mind will be fixed on the dham. He will feel separation from the dham. Earlier, what was happening, still his physical body was here, but his mind was not here, because he wanted to go but he could not go. But now when I kicked him out of the dham, he will feel separation from the dham, and in that state of mind, he will definitely attain the ultimate destination. So sometimes we do not understand here, right? Vaishnava's kriya, we cannot understand, but this was the heart of Bhakti Siddhanta, that he has helped his soul to attain the ultimate destination. Because Krishna says, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam, whatever you do smaran. He doesn't say where is your body, smaran, mind. So that's what I would like to pause here. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So that's what I had to share today. If anybody want to share any pastime, anything, we can take, or any question, any comment, we can take
When you
it.
were talking about the brahmachari, I thought you were going to talk about the brahmachari who had, due to some misunderstanding, left the mutt, and he sent his disciples to look for him, and his disciples has no idea where this brahmachari was, but he insisted on their finding him and bringing him back, and somehow they found him and brought him back, I think. So he was very, very concerned.
Yeah,
You know,
because he said that it's very, very difficult for us to connect one soul to Krishna.
one soul to Krishna,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
So
nice,
much
nice, Mataji.
blood and sweat is, to take one soul back.
Yes.
So, why did he have to leave? Because of some small misunderstanding. Why did you have to kick him out? Because
Yes.
some of the other disciples, I think, kicked him out for some small fault.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, for adding. Yes, because very, very difficult for one person to get connected to Krishna. So you have shared it nicely. Yeah, that's pastime is there too. Yes, Mataji. And also one more, like Srila Prabhupada also, he was when he was in there in New York, when he arrived in 1965, or it was rather early of the 1966, when he was living in 72 72th Street in New York in 307 room. Very, very small room. It has been mentioned it was not even a room. No bath facility, no kitchen, nothing, no shower facility, no bathroom. So it's just like a very, very, very small place. So, but Prabhupada was living, even though he was living here, he had got theft in his room. He has a typewriter and he had his recorder. Somebody has gifted him a recorder. So Prabhupada also recorded that in Prabhupada Lilamrita. It is there. Around $157 lost, at that time he had around 55 years back. So Prabhupada also, was thinking at that time, because he has this free ticket, he could always go to this SC India steam company agent, and he can ask him, okay, you book my ticket for next week or for tomorrow. So he had that option. But he was thinking about Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because he says, whatever inconvenience you have in your spiritual duties, never leave it. Never leave your service. So, he thought about it. Why I have come here? I have not come here to just return due to some inconvenience I am having. So that's thing he had, he went to the agent actually, but he has never left it. So anybody else want to share something? They might have to share about Bhakti Siddhanta or Prabhupada. And because of his mercy, as we are sitting here and remembering Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Prabhupada came out of his order, and he always said that my Guru Maharaj has ordered me. That's why I have, even he is so humble, right? I have no qualification. My Guru Maharaj has ordered, and just trying to follow the order of my Guru Maharaj, like that he used to mention. So very, very eternally grateful we are to these souls. We can pray to them, because on the appearance day they are always merciful, because that's how we were discussing all these things. And if he have not ordered to Prabhupada, and if Prabhupada has not taken it seriously, so very, very difficult. Sometimes we give priority to other things, leave behind all these things, but we should understand from these pastimes of the acharyas. So I think Rasraj Prabhu, today are you mentioning there is no quiz? Okay, so if there is no quiz, then we can end here. We can do the prayers at the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpataru
गुरुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज की जय। पद्मलोचनी माता जी की
Srila
जय।
Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you everyone for joining.
Padmalochini, I actually learned a few things that I did not know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. Yeah, it's very nice to discuss about these.
Yeah, it was a very nice class. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.